Hey everybody, it's Jason, Zombie Collector here, and I teased a few videos back that I have something in brewing in the old Black Cauldron, and I was able to talk to my friend. His name is John, and he was like, "Of course, man, let people know." So I'm excited to announce that John and I used to do a podcast. There's a few other guys that were involved with it. But I feel like John and I were the mainstays, called Gut Munchers Podcast. Now I don't know if we're gonna stick with that moniker for this next venture we're doing, because we're kind of going in a different direction. That's his website. I'll leave a link to it at the bottom, and I might also put it on my now YouTube page underneath like details or like about me, so you can find it. But we're gonna record our first video this week. Now, if you know anything about the podcasting game, if you know anything about people who do like lots of reviews, it seems like there's a heavy contingent on horror movies, because quite frankly, that's what most people really like. It seems like people talk a lot about horror movies in the community. At least the community that I come from. And if you're in a lot of the Facebook groups, if you're on YouTube a lot, if you're on a lot of the podcasts, a lot of them are horror based. And there was nothing wrong with that. But quite frankly, back when John and I were doing it originally, I feel like we were by no means we weren't originating anything. We were kind of in the same group, but there wasn't as many people doing it 12 years ago, 13 years ago. So, you didn't feel like it was so oversaturated. And at this point, I feel like it's pretty much oversaturated, where a lot of people are doing horror-related stuff. And I'm not saying we wouldn't go back and do an episode here or there. But John and I spoke with each other, and we started bouncing some ideas off of each other, and we thought, let's do something where it's action movie based, maybe. Talking lots about 70s and 80s action movies, 90s, I guess modern day stuff, maybe things from even before, but things that kind of don't get the light shown on them as much. Is that right? And so we were bouncing some ideas off each other, thought that might be a good take to do. And so I'm super excited now. John, I'm just going to be a talking head. I have zero technical abilities, as most of you already know, because I just put my phone in front of my face. I try to do something special in my background recently, and that's essentially it. I don't edit. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't do any kind of cool cuts. Try to do intros and outros. I don't do any of that. John's the mastermind behind that. He's a very big techie guy. But we are going to do a action movie focused podcast. And I guess I'm not for sure it's going to be underneath the Gut Munchers title or not. But if you can go to that website, you'll see he's starting to release our own podcast. And he did tell me that this coming week, so when this gets released, it'll probably be live, that him and I interviewed, I don't know, 12 years ago, maybe longer, actress Carol Speed. I was able to track down the interview years ago with her. I found her online. I used to be kind of like a sleuth, if you will, a private investigator. I was an PI. I was JP PI instead of Magnum PI. I was Jason Payne PI. I didn't think about saying my last name, but I'm like, it's all right. I'm throwing it out there. And so I tracked her down, and she's in lots of movies. She was in The Mac. She was in Black Samson. She was in William Girdler's Abby, which is an Exorcist ripoff. She was in she was in a movie. She was in a couple other things. The movies I'm forgetting. The Centurion, I believe. The Centurion, something like that. It had Stacy Keach in it. But anyways, so she was in a handful of films, and I tracked her down. We interviewed her. It was an awesome interview. We had lots of interviews like that, and he's starting to release those on the podcast. I'm sorry, on his website. And I want to say it's like Gut Munchers at blogs. I don't know. I honestly can't remember, but I'll send it here. I'll post the link at the bottom. But to get back to that real quick, so we're gonna do action based podcast. The one cool thing that John does is he does lots of cool radio spots throughout the podcast in the past. I'm assuming he'll do that. He said he's going to do it again. So he'll take radio spots from the movie we're highlighting, or just contemporary radio spots from that time frame, and intersplice them in there. He might do some other things with the audio, with intros and outros, and just kind of make it have a feel like a fireside chat that you listen to just the two blokes talking about film. Now, I'm really excited about the first one. I'm not going to say anything about it. I kind of wanted to be a little bit of a surprise, but he had suggested it, and I thought it was a great introduction. But I will tell you, this movie that we're going to do is from the Cannon Film Collection. So Cannon Films, as anybody knows, was a big fan of, B movies and 80s cinema. Cannon was kind of like the huge company, and they were like pretty much putting out everything, anything. It's kind of like that whole Jello throwing it against the wall and see what sticks. That's what Cannon's going to be about, and we're going to talk probably a lot about Cannon on this podcast, on this first episode we're going to do. We already have the second episode also. I'll give a teaser on the second episode. He asked me to come up with an idea because he came up with the first one, and we both have to be kind of excited about doing it. It can't be something just about me and then the other person kind of to be dragged into it. So we both have to have a little bit of excitement. The next one is, I believe, also from the 80s, probably late 80s, if not early 90s. But it stars a very famous brother pair. But a lot of people might not know they were brothers because they had different last names. But it was going to be a very famous brother movie. Real brothers, not movie brothers. And that will be episode number 2, I believe. So I'm super excited about that, to do that with John. I hope you all will be as excited as I am. And definitely give it a listen. Let us know what you think. It's going to be completely different than what I've done for years. And I'm not for sure the direction and the future of it. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to do a couple episodes, see how it goes. And then I guess we'll go from there. But I definitely look forward to sharing this new journey with you all. And I would appreciate if you all give it a look, listen, and then give me feedback. You can go here on the channel, because I'll probably post an update every week we do a new release. I'll probably post a little video so people can go listen to it. But I like, constructive criticism, things you liked about, things you didn't like. I'm always about trying to make things better, or maybe even suggestions. If you have suggestions, that'd be awesome too. So till next time, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And hopefully you'll enjoy this journey that myself and my good friend John's going to go on. So until next time, guys, peace.